Record.
Hello, everyone. This is a joint floss tube. Today, I am Krista West of Avlea Folk Embroidery, and you can see that I am wearing my birthday queen sash and my birthday tiara. So, last September, I was at the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit in Portland, Oregon, and there I met Carolyn and Megan, who are also floss tubers, and we got to talking and discovered that we all had March birthdays. So we decided to do a March birthday bash floss tube. So here we are in all of our birthday glory. So um, I'm Krista West. I'm the designer and owner of Avlea Folk Embroidery. Let's go around and just introduce ourselves. Oh, and tell our birthday. And my birthday is March 31st. So I just have 2 more days to go. Okay.
Yay.
Carolyn?
I'm Carolyn Zook with Czookstitch, and my birthday was March 22nd, which was a week ago so a week ago from today. Today's the 29th. And it was a week ago.
I'm Megan with MJ Stitches 23, and my birthday was March 21st. So technically, I am the oldest this year on this call.
If you don't count years.
If you don't count years. If you don't count years. And
Well, it's really, in our family, oh, yeah, it's your birthday stuff?
And to match your tiara, you can have a little birthday balloon wand.
Well, my family is really good to me. They kind of turn my birthday into like a multi-day celebration. So there's usually like a nice dinner day, and then there's a present day, and there's all the things because they know how much I love my birthday. So, I mean, even though I know you're not supposed to say that when you get older, but I love my birthday.
I love my
It's
birthday
awesome.
too.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I love birthdays.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
then
start to forget how old I am. That's what we were kind of talking about that a little bit ago. I never know now how old I am. I always have to count up from my brother.
Oh.
And I skip years. Like somebody will talk to me. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm this old. And they'll be like, wait, you were born in the same year I was. I'm like, yeah. They're like, no, you're a year older. I'm like, well, no, it's so weird because yeah, last year I did this. And then all of a sudden, Facebook will pop up with like, this is what you actually did last year. I'm like, oh, I totally forgot about that. Just feel like
I'm in an even decade, so it's easy. And then in our family, my father-in-law was an even decade. I am an even decade, and 2 of my daughters are even decades. And so so it's actually pretty easy for figuring out the age.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys just
Yeah.
have to add by 10 or subtract by
Yeah.
10. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
parents should have thought that through a little more because I also lose track of my age.
Well, I thought it'd be fun if we just kind of talk about maybe what we're up to in the stitching world.
Yeah.
What's been going on stitchy-wise for us?
Yeah.
So when Carolyn and I were down at Pacific Northwest Stitching Summit, when you were there, Krista, we went shopping at Acorns and Threads, and we found this pattern design. This is your design. And so
Yep.
we decided we had to buy it and start it for our birthdays. So
That's the
here,
Hysteria design. Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's Asteria. And so here is this is I haven't started yet, but here it is for starting
Oh,
today
they're kitted up.
in honor
Yep.
of all of our birthdays.
That is a great fabric. That is actually one of the folk fabrics I stock that actually comes from Europe. It doesn't come from Greece, but it's called an etamine fabric, which is like an even weave fabric. So it's very similar to like the counted thread linens and things like that. But there's this whole category of even weave fabrics that are produced that are specifically designed for like household goods. So they're a little bit thicker and they're really durable, and like they can be washed and used because up till even just a few decades ago, people were still like making tons of household items out of those fabrics, and they come in tons of colors. I have the white and the cream and the blue, and I just got in it's this really beautiful kind of soft green.
Ooh.
So it's really pretty. Yeah. And so I use them for like basket cloths or little table mats or things like that. It's a really great stitch. It's 100% cotton, and it's really soft to stitch on.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that? Like
Yeah.
it's not crunchy. It's like really soft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I love because sometimes textures with me, I like the softer feel.
Yeah.
I'm a newer stitcher. So like, of course I started stitching on Ada, which like, as we all do.
Yeah.
And didn't even realize there were other fabrics when I started. So I've really kind of moved a little bit now towards the softer side of things. And I keep Ada for the full coverage.
Yeah. That's a really good way to go, I think, because the even weaves, they become part of like your whole design because the fabric, whatever your negative space, your unstitched space is actually just as important as like where you're covering. Yeah. So that's why I'm like always looking for like interesting base fabrics, or we would say a ground cloth, or that, because it really it can completely change the whole look of a design. You know,
Mhm.
what fabric it's stitched on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, so okay, you're asking like what
What
we've
else
been
do we
stitching
have?
on. So one of my, so this is kind of part of that. So I found out about these cool magazines, these cross, just, okay, newer stitcher, right? So just cross stitch
Yeah.
magazines. So I picked one of the patterns in here called Nature's Journey. So they do one for per magazine throughout the year. So I get 4 of them. So they do spring, summer, fall, and winter. So for my spring piece, I started on Ada because that's all I knew at the time that had happened. So
Look
this
at that.
So
is
pretty.
Oh, I
my
love that.
spring,
It's so pretty.
and
I
everything is
love the
finished
color palette too.
for this part, except for I'm going to do the motif in here. I'm going to do an iris. It calls for something else, but I'm a huge iris grower. I have over 30 varieties in my iris garden. It's just something I love. So I'm like, spring for me has to have irises.
Yeah.
So I will be so sorry, I have a lot to talk about this and then I'll stop. But
No,
I
we want to hear
watched
this. I love this palette too. What a
okay,
beautiful color
cool.
palette.
So I also watch Becca is stitching. She's another floss tuber, and she showed how she puts her patterns into a program called Whip Stitch, I believe.
Wind stitch.
Yes,
Wind
okay,
stitch.
you know what
That's
it
the
is. Good.
Yeah,
Wait,
program
yeah.
wait.
I
I
use.
just bought it, and I probably should know what the name is.
Oh,
Wind Stitch.
cannot recommend it enough. Jim, the owner, is so nice, and he has literally from day one, he's responded to every single email I've ever sent him because I
Oh,
literally couldn't
good.
figure it out at first. That's the charting software that I've used from the very beginning. I love it.
Okay, so I just bought it last week, and so I'm excited. So
Fantastic.
I used it for something else, which I'll show you. But I so far I'm really loving
Oh.
it. So that's what I'm gonna do is to put in this. Um, so she was showing.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, well, if you need me to chart that for you,
Yeah,
let me know. I have
thank
wind stitch, but I guess I
Yeah.
don't have
Well,
to do
I'll give
that
it a go.
now.
I can always send it to you and be like, what do you think? Is this terrible or not? And
If
then,
you run into any problems, like let me know. We can do like a Zoom screen share. The program is really sophisticated. There's
okay.
so much you
There's a
can do
lot.
with
Yeah, I
it.
feel like there's even a lot for me to learn
Oh,
just
so much. And
about
like
all the
we just
tools and the
added,
proofing.
I just got the metallic threads in from Greece and I was trying to chart for them. And then I went, oh shoot, I can't like label this as DMC. That's going to be totally confusing. So I just shot an email over to Jim and I was like, Jim, I've got these threads. They're nowhere else in the world. Like, how do I do this? And he was like, oh, you just do this and click here and do this, and then you can rename it. And I'm like, it's that easy.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
he's great.
That's
So
great.
I'm excited to play with that program for this piece. So the other part of this, which Carolyn remembers, is that I started this is new stuff. I started this piece and I used the oh gosh, you guys, what's the website where you measure and you input your
Oh, the
numbers?
fabric
Yeah,
calculator.
fabric calculator, right? Well, I only did that for the top and the side. I didn't realize you have to do an extra for the other side. So I was going to be off. So we talked about, and I had already done like this whole part.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to end stitch it.
Right.
So Carolyn helped me with a couple of her Zoom members on your Facebook monthly Facebook challenge about what options I had to try to fix it.
Yeah.
And one of them was, well, why don't you just cut it like this, make this a piece, and then for your next piece, quilt it together.
I love this so
So
much.
now you can see I've graduated from white Ada to hand dyed in my garden Ada, but I was playing with dyes, so I'm like, this is cool. So this now will be sewn
Oh, that
like
is so
this
cool. You know, you
So
could
the
always
summer.
even frame them as dual.
Yeah, and
Wait,
then
oh my gosh, that's a great
fall
idea to break
and
apart a pattern
winter.
like that.
And then
Yeah.
there's two more below.
Yeah, there's 2 more below. So fall will be here, which I kind of want to like, I don't know, coffee or tea dye with the brown. That'd be cool. And then do
Yeah.
another dyeing with the light blue or something for the
Winter.
winter piece.
And I
Yeah.
love
This
that
is a
this
huge
shows your
project.
stitching progression too, like as you started and the story behind like your first,
Yeah.
the first
Yeah, so like
corner.
even here, what was I thinking? But you have the white on white. Like so now I had to play with a couple different back stitches so you could see a pop, which is
Yeah.
not called for, but I
Yeah.
was like, well, I have to do
Good.
something. And then I'm,
That's a
then
great,
you're gonna get to
great
see
thing to
like me
do.
trying to
Yeah.
short. So yeah, so this is gonna be my growth piece
Yeah,
of
I
my
love
Well,
that.
stitching.
and then it's seasonal too. It's like through the seasons, but also through like the season of you learning. I think this is such an important thing. I feel like it's funny. I was in the workshop the other day and I was taking this photo that I've literally tried to take like 7 times and I just can't nail it. Light, I can't get the light. I'm still figuring out the light here in my new studio. And so it's been an ongoing issue. And my teenage daughter has been coming in. We have a spring break. So she was coming in and helping. And I was just sort of like, oh, I was stomping around. And then I was like, wait, okay, no, I just have to tell myself I have not failed. I have learned. And Georgia's like, you should do a reel on that. And I'm like, on what? She goes like, on that. And I'm like, oh, and I did a reel and I got so many great comments because I feel like it's so easy in the craft industry, especially on social media, for things to look really good and really polished and really finished. And people do not realize how much learning went into like that one thing. And I think it's great when people show their learning journey. This is a journey. It's not like a process. We're not like, there's no end goal here. It's like, it's all about the process for us. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's why like getting together and hanging out, I know for me personally, like with many other like cross stitchers or designers or whatever have you, it's you guys are and so enabling because we're really, I think as crafters we're really hard on ourselves because we want things to look nice or be perfect. And you don't have to be perfectionist. You're gonna make mistakes as you're learning, and you have to figure out then how to overcome them or how to change direction and do something different to make it work. And I think that's a big part of that end piece. Like, oh, not just that you did this and that's cool, but like it's all kind of about the journey. Because once you get stuck,
Huge.
what do? Do you quit?
Exactly.
Then you don't
No,
learn
you're gonna
anything.
either or you just fudge it or you go, you can fudge,
Yeah.
but you can unstitch. There's just you have a lot of different options to try to do. So it's kind of cool to get together to talk about them.
And I think those
Learn.
pivots are what really lend interest to our work.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a design that I have had on my, okay, I'll show it. It's coming out really soon. I have had it on my design board for 2 years. And I have tried it in every single format I could think of, every colorway possible. And every time I do it, I'd be like, no, that's not it. Then I'd stick it on the design board. I'd let it sit for I do a big design week every 3 months. And so that's kind of when I go through everything like all over again because I have to like block out a whole week to do that.
Yeah.
And so like actually this next week is like one of my big design weeks. And so this design, literally, I saw the image and I saw it in an old Ukrainian textile. I'm like, I love that. And I had seen a similar image in some Greek embroideries. I'm like, this is like one of those motifs that is very universal. So I wanted to do it, but I was like, okay, I am not loving any of it in the original format. And I tried and tried. I changed up the color palette probably a dozen times. And it was interesting. Last fall, Georgia also was in the workshop. She came in over Christmas break, I think it was. And she goes, ooh, have you thought about like doing this with the outside border? And I'm like, that's it. That's the thing I needed. So this is the design.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
it's so pretty.
It's like a little, yeah. So we're gonna call it, and I like it because it can actually be, it can be a table runner, but it can also be a wall hanger. Like you can go either way. Like you can put this with one of those little magic poster bars or a tapestry rod or something and do it like as wall
like a
art.
scroll tapestry rod. Oh, that'd be cool
exactly.
too.
And so, but I spent so much time like working this over, and this doesn't look like any of the other previous variations. And so again, that's not something that like, I mean, I guess one of these times I should probably like take pictures and like say, okay, this was the initial and here were all the different variations it went through.
I think that'd be cool to see the progress of like what your piece started as and then it's
all that
wait,
works
so what's it called?
This one's called Carpathian Bluebells.
Carpathian.
Because the Carpathian Mountains is an area where there's a lot of folk embroidery and a lot of like overlapping elements, that overlapping cultural elements. And so it's kind of a crossroads, if you would. And I just love the idea of bluebells because they're actually like, they're that classic 8-pointed star, also known as the peacock feather. But to me, they look a little bit like bluebells. And like the original fragment of the motif only had like a little section of it and it was all like in red and black, like that Ukrainian red and black, which is great. But I mean, I do like the red and black a lot, but it doesn't go in most of our homes. And it also is, if we're honest, a little bit boring to stitch. And so I liked having something with more color. And it was actually, yeah, so it was George's idea to basically take, I had tried all these different ways of repeating this basically, you can see this is sort of your diamond shape here with these 4 motifs. And I tried repeating it all these different ways and breaking it apart and trying different things, and nothing worked. And then she was like, no, just get it closer. She said, so it creates this. And then I saw that scallop effect and I'm like, that's it. But I'm talking like 2 years, like, and a lot of these things I just let sit there and they percolate. And then I'm like, okay, it's time to circle back. So that is so much a part of the creative journey, no matter where you are on that creative journey, like whether you're a beginner or whether you're, I've spent my entire life in the textile world. And you have to embrace that this is like, it's hard because some of us I'm very much like a to-do list person. Like I'd like to get this checked off the to-do list, but we can't really approach our designing.
I think we're all kind of to-do list people. I think that's a theme that we have.
I'm a total to-do list person. I like live my whole life by to-do lists, but there's times where we just have to like ditch the to-do list. Yeah.
Creative work doesn't work like that. It doesn't care about your to-do list necessarily.
No, it does not at all.
Yeah.
Carolyn, what are you up to? What are you stitching?
Well, I'm gonna start.
Oh, show us your cool book. She was showing us this really cool book before we started. Show us the neat birthday book.
Yes. So for my birthday, my brother got me this book. It's called Alice's Wonderland Sampler Quilts. And it's a quilt book, but there's hand embroidery on several, I think like 20 of the blocks. So it's 100 different blocks that you quilt together. And it progresses from block number 1 is very easy to block 100. And so you're learning new skills as you progress throughout the book, which is super exciting. And so, the first blocks, if you've never sewn before, right, you're learning a lot of the basics. If you have sewn before, the first few blocks may be super easy. And then, it's like, here's your Amish bar. So you're learning piecing and strip
it can kind of build too. So as you learn something, then if it comes back up in a later design, you kind of have already learned that. That's cool.
Exactly. So it kind of builds on your previous skills. And then there's some English paper piecing somewhere in here, which I've never done before. So that's another talking about learning and going through drafts of learning. And then there's a bunch of blocks that have some hand embroidery. So you sew the blocks together and then you add in your own touches of, like, there's a bumblebee and you hand stitch the path of the bumblebee, that type of thing.
Cute.
Or you stitch in
so
the
do you
veins
make the bumblebee and the quilt and then but the path is the hand stitching?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah. So there's just here's an example of, here's a little house and you have the little smoke coming out of the chimney that's hand embroidered.
Oh, yeah.
And then the pathway. And you could add other elements if you wanted to. There's no rules in it, but it's really cool. And then there's
great idea.
What's that?
It's a great idea.
It's a great idea. And then this is their kind of, they say you can lay it out however you want, but those are all the blocks that you make. And this is this is how she laid it out, but you can do whatever you want, of course. And then she gives you all the finishing to make it into a sampler quilt, which I can show you what that will look like. Here it is on a bed.
That is so neat.
So I am super
really
excited.
Cool, heirloom piece.
Yeah, truly.
That's just really cool.
So I'm excited. This uses the Liberty fabric, if people are familiar with the Liberty fabric, but really you can use any scraps that you have. It doesn't take much fabric. I think they call for fat 1/16 of quilting fabric. So it's not very much.
No.
So I'm excited to start on that because it kind of blends both worlds for me.
Oh, that's going to be so fun. Well, yeah, I mentioned this before we started, but I just started carrying Liberty fabrics.
Yes.
So that I can start doing projects with Liberty fabrics, because I'm kind of all about how can we practically use this thing? Like how could, and one of the things I use a ton are bags. So like I'm doing these kits now that are basically a stitched kit like this, but the
So
lining
cute.
is a Liberty of London lining fabric.
That's so pretty.
I better not open it too much because you know what? I think I even forgot to blind stitch this clothes before I still totally open it there. I get so excited to be like finished and take the photo that sometimes I'm like, oh, nobody's going to notice if it's blind stitched. And now I've just told you guys all my secrets. So like now you're all going to look at my photos and go, did she blind stitch it? No, she forgot. Because I'm usually like trying to, yeah. So I did that. And then this is a new one coming up. This is the new design. We're going to call this Ione. I've always loved the name Ione. And it also has like the Liberty of London. This is the,
I love
this
that
is
one.
the Ava fabric. And then this one is actually.
That also kind of reminds me of like a little cute little wine bag.
It does. It's for my sunglasses. So
really
my
nice. Oh,
optometrist.
Okay. So sorry. From
My
here,
glasses, my glasses like fit in it perfectly. So I don't like carrying a really big purse. And so I have like a little tiny crossbody purse. And so I hate carrying like a bulky case, hard-sided case for my sunglasses. And so my optometrist though is like, now that you live in Central Oregon, she's like, I need you to get serious about wearing your sunglasses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fine. You know, when you live in the Willamette Valley, you just do not have to think about that. And here she's like, if you step outside and it's sunny, she goes, I want your sunglasses on. No macular degeneration for you, my love. And I'm like, okay. And so I have to carry them with me all the time. But I'm like, so I have this little bag. But I also, I mean, you could put anything in it. I mean, you could put sewing tools in it. I got this really cool little, I bought this really cool little antique stiletto. It's like a little antique all with an ivory handle for the photos. I should not have gone down that rabbit hole on Etsy. Wow, there are so many cool old sewing tools. I saw a thimble for $2,500. A thimble.
What?
$2,500.
It's an 18 karat gold, $2,500 thimble on Etsy. And I'm like, whoa, I couldn't believe it.
It's a whole
world. You could put that in your bag though, and just carry.
You could put it in your bag.
It would fit.
It's a business expense, Krista.
That's right. It needs a really swanky thimble. But fortunately, the little stilettos were like, I think I got those for like $15. But it's really cool. It has like an ivory handle. And I really like really nice tools.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so yeah, the Liberty fabrics are so much fun to work with. And they're just the feel of them and stitching on them. They're not really like anything else.
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
With that bag, Megan, you could just do another another repeat of the pattern and make it into a wine bag.
I didn't realize that when you first showed how big it was, but absolutely.
You totally could. Yeah, with these bags, part of why I wanted to do these bags is that I wanted something practical. And I wanted an excuse, if we're really being honest, I wanted an excuse to have Liberty fabrics in my workshop because, I don't know, I just love them. I literally have them in this little pride of place in a beautiful basket in the corner of my workshop. They just make me, I feel like I've arrived in life. No one else gets this. Like, this is social capital that no one outside of the crafting, world gets. But I'm like, oh, just my Liberty fabrics in the corner. You know what I mean? But like, only people in the crafting industry get that.
Yeah.
But,
and then you have people to be excited with that about.
I know.
Exactly, right? I know, you are my people. So I wanted to do bags, but I also, when I have a lot of designs that are like the large linen squares, and that always leaves me with like a 10 to 11 inch piece of the linen. And so bags are perfect for that because it takes a long, skinny, piece of that linen.
Yes.
So it allows me to like more efficiently use all the linen.
Oh, I love that idea.
So yeah, plus something like cool and practical.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. I know. I think I'm gonna give these to my daughters for
the other thing that I have here. I think you're gonna
show us.
Can I ask a quick question, Megan?
It doesn't have the Liberty fabric in it yet, obviously, because we got it from you before the Liberty fabric was in your shop. But it's the bag that you gave us at the retreat. So I've started stitching on the outside, and I use it as a project bag.
Yes, that's exactly what it's designed.
I got this variegated thread. Let's see if I can show you the color.
I can see it. It's so
I'm not really following the actual instructions, but I'm using this more.
No, don't. That bag has such a funny history. I never thought people were going to stitch them. It never occurred to me until that people were going to do that. Georgia, my youngest daughter, had a birthday party, and working mom, I was scrambling to find a craft for the birthday party, like 2 minutes before the birthday party started. I had the muslin bags in like my little gift tote, and I had the stamps we were using at the time for the embroidery kits. I thought, fine, we'll just stamp them, they can color them, call it good. And it was like an instant. And so I had a few left over, and I put them on the website. And next thing I know, people are like, where can we get more of those bags? And I'm like, what? This is like a thing. And it turned out being this thing. And then people start sending me photos of them stitching it and coloring it and like all this stuff. And now we do them. And I actually just figured out we have a new stamping technique we're using. And so I'm hoping to actually do more of those kind of bags. They're super fun, right? Like
because I mean, I even have like, here's your little card on like how to do it. And it's cool because it's a bit more embroidery, suppose, than cross stitch, but I'm learning new things, and I'm using this kind of as like, I'm not following this specifically, but I'm like, okay, it's more of like a creative side, like exactly. It's like it's okay to be not perfect, like I'm gonna choose my colors, I'm gonna choose my threads, and it might not look perfect in the end, but you know what, I made it, and it's gonna be my own personal bag. It doesn't matter. So I'm having a lot of fun like planning and trying to figure out what colors I'm going to do where and what types of stitches. And I don't know all the stitches either. So
so if you don't, the resource I would strongly recommend for you is the Royal School of Needlework in London has what's called the RSN Stitch Bank. It's an online resource. They have been working for, I believe, it's like over 10 years now to document online every embroidery stitch known to mankind.
Wow.
Like, that's really cool.
Really a cool resource.
That's a good resource.
Avlea Folk Embroidery, we are the sponsor of the closed Cretan stitch because it is a Greek folk stitch. And so I know about this because they reached out to me a long time ago to sponsor one. And so you can go on, and what's really cool is it has all the stitches there, and for every stitch, you have like a step-by-step sketch. You have a video of somebody doing it in real time. Like, it's a complete like learning experience. So however you learn a stitch best, you can it's right there, all in the stitch. It's a great way to like experiment and like find new stitches. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's really
great. We'll definitely have to check that out because I feel like this one that I'm doing right now, I'm kind of made it up myself.
You should.
To start, I was like, okay, let me just see how this so stitching on I've never stitched on a canvas or this cloth before or anything like it. So I'm like, well, let's just, kind of experiment. But it's kind of nice to do that on something like this versus, like this, where I'm like, no, I want this to look like exactly. Look, here's my little start now.
Yeah, exactly.
I want this to look like the picture, whereas this I can just kind of do my own.
It's much more loose. Yes, and it's funny, I'm actually branching out more. This year, I wanted to add more surface embroidery designs. So I did bring my whip, which I'm pretty excited about. This is a new surface embroidery kit design, and I'm almost done with it. And it's a square. And okay, just to give you an idea, surface embroidery tends to go a lot faster than cross stitch. I've been working at this for like 10 days. That's it.
Wow.
And it goes fast. But what this is it's a technique that's done in grease. And this is all pretty much just it's two different types of stitches that are kind of related to each other. But what's really cool about it is you put in all your color work, then you outline it all with metallic thread.
Oh.
And cool.
And so the metallic thread looks really swanky and elegant, but it's like a stem stitch. It's literally like, it's about as easy of a stitch as you can do. But in Greece, for years, I'd seen these embroideries like this that are like these beautiful, very colorful designs with this kind of fill stitch in the metallic thread. But I only just figured out like how it's complicated to get it on the fabric. And then we use like a special type of French linen for this. I mean, I get it from Greece, but they call it French linen. And so it's a lot finer linen. But I have to say, I'm really enjoying, like right now, my own project right now is like doing surface embroidery. I have a cross stitch project going too, but the surface embroidery is a great thing to have in your toolkit. I mean, in Greece, women do cross stitch, they do surface embroidery, like they'll kind of just move all around. They have all of these like stitching techniques in their own little toolkit in their head.
Well, and that's too. So, Carolyn, on your Facebook group, you are doing a challenge called April
Fool's Gold.
Fool's Gold for the 1st of April.
Yeah.
And it's to use either specialty beads, the metallic floss or something of that nature. And
Yeah,
so
something sparkly.
guess what I'm going to be using this project?
Yes,
I'm going
that's
to use, I have
perfect.
metallic floss and I'm going to somehow put it in there. But I didn't think about the outline. That's a good idea, but that's,
Classic
um,
Greek technique. I have multiple, I bought embroideries like that in Greece. There are still like stores in Greece where you can go in and buy handmade pieces. They're very expensive. I only have like, I think I have two of that particular kind that I've actually bought,
Yeah.
because they're very expensive. And those
Yeah.
shops do not take credit cards, which is actually really good for me. Because if they did, I'd literally like max. It's the only time I've ever been tempted to max out my credit card was in that shop. Oh my gosh. But there's a really, really, there used to be a really, I don't know if she's still in business, but there's one that was in Thessaloniki that was very good. And there's those claws. And as soon as I started seeing those, I was like, oh, I wish I could like recreate this. I love this style of embroidery. It's the stitch that they use, they pretty much only use, well, three stitches. They use satin stitch, stem stitch, and then the stitch that in English we call Romanian couching, which is basically kind of like a variation on satin stitch. So it's very simple, but they're those kind of historical stitches are oftentimes used to cover large areas of ground and to be very economic of thread. Because
Mm.
when thread was really expensive, you don't want you have a bunch of it on the back. So you can see like on the back, there's not a lot of thread on the back. And
Yeah.
that's the way the stitches worked. It's really easy. I've been doing like I'll be doing
that
like
almost
little
looks like the
tutorials.
front. That's so beautiful.
Well, and that's kind of fun too. I've been pushing myself though because when I was in Greece well, it's been like a year and a half ago now. My own embroidery tutor that I work with there in Athens, I started to like she was showing me like the variations of they call it Visentino in Greek, but in English we call it Romanian couching. And she was showing me different variations that I'd never seen before. And I was like, oh, wait, I had no idea you could do this. So I, of course, pull out my hoop and my floss and all my things, and I make a knot. And she just looks at me like, what are you doing? As only a Greek woman can look at you and give you like, really? That's how you're going to start your embroidery? And so I'm like, okay, show me how you do it. And she does this cool thing where she actually takes the floss through from the front. And that way there's no knot on the back. And then all of her stitches eventually cover up that tail. And so
Yeah.
it's really clean on the back. So I've been pushing myself to like do that on this one.
Yeah.
Because the knots
I
are
need to learn that.
problematic. Like
Yeah,
the
I
knots,
finally learned the loop start, which I'm like, ah!
Yeah. They use that method sometimes in cross stitch too, I think. With
yes.
like what do they call it? Like an away tail or something like
Yeah.
that.
I
Yeah.
think it's going to be good to learn for blended threads because if you have a blended, you can't do a loop start for blended. I know I'm using a lot of my
Yes.
blended in my
Yes.
Lord of the Rings piece,
Yeah.
and so I haven't learned it yet, but I do. I've
You
just
can
mastered the
use,
loop start, so I'm
that's so
okay now.
true. Because loop start only works if you're using two strands
Right.
or a multiple of two. If
Or yeah, or even like a variegated. It probably would work that one you're talking about would look good for like a variegated as well because
Yes.
you don't want to bend that
Yes,
either.
because there's certain times you don't want to fold your floss in half, or if you're working like with metallic, the metallic thread is a single strand. So you
Yeah.
can't use loop start. Yeah, so that's why I was kind of pushing myself to like learn other techniques.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
use a pin stitch for those situations, which is 50-50 on how well it works for me. But I still do
I have
it.
limited success with pin stitch. Yeah, I do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So, um, Krista, I had one question and one comment for you.
Yeah.
My question, going back to Liberty Fabrics, are you selling it yardage on your
You know,
shop?
I've been on the fence about that. Okay,
Okay.
so I've been on the fence about that because, okay, we're among friends here. Because for years and years and years, basically from the start of Avlea, I had free shipping on anything.
Yeah.
But the shipping has gotten so expensive.
Yeah.
And I realized that actually offering free shipping on absolutely everything meant I couldn't actually put things like fabric on the website because I
Yep.
can't afford to ship them. So the shipping, like 3 years ago, the things that were costing me like $2.60 to ship through USPS Ground Advantage are now almost $6 to ship. So the shipping's gone up
Wow.
dramatically.
Yeah.
And so it's almost tripled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I finally, last week, kind of quietly, instituted a free shipping on anything $30 and over. Like if you place an order, so it's still free shipping, but anything under. So all that to say that yes, now I can start offering fabric by the yard. And I have been thinking about doing fat quarters of Liberty. Do you think there's interest in that?
Yes.
Okay.
I also think I would love it if you would kit up this for me.
Well, show me. Well, the thing is I only have right now, I have about, I think I have 9 or 10 of the Liberty designs
It's a
because I
good
was
start.
specifically choosing for what would match my floss palette.
Of course. Of course.
But
From a
yeah, and I'm
business
also like,
perspective.
yeah, I'm also looking at like the ones like that have like a historical, like they are going to play well with like the historic folk embroidery designs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
So
may not be this.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I have been seriously thinking about doing it, especially now that I'm teaching people to do more lining and things like
Yeah.
that. I've really, really been thinking about kitting up and doing fat quarters of Liberty. So yeah, I
Yeah.
have a feeling that's going to be coming. I just have so many people asking me now for supplies. I mean,
Oh,
that
interesting.
makes me absolutely over the moon, crazy thrilled because it means
Yeah.
that people are going out and creating their own stuff.
Yeah.
I love making kits. Don't get me wrong. I love making kits and I love
Yeah.
that people buy kits. It's fantastic. But I love, like, I just had a woman who was like, I want a floss hank of every single color you carry. And I'm like, give me a minute. I was okay.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm moving more. I'm trying to add more of that. And I
Mhm.
finally got some help this year. So
Good.
last year was absolutely fantastic. Avlea grew a ton last year to my huge surprise and to my huge relief because I had quit my day job. And so it was like, okay, we're really committed now. And but I could not afford help last year. I had to do
Yeah.
everything. So I was working 60-hour weeks all
Oh
last
my
year.
gosh.
But finally, I've got some part-time help in now, and it's been huge. So now I'm kind of like taking this breath and going, okay, what
Yeah.
do we want to do? I have more hands. Also, interestingly enough,
Which is good for your creative side. You need, like, if you're just working 60 hours a week, there's no more creative space in there. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy
That's a
for
good
you.
point.
That's
yeah, so that's been really great. And it's hard. I grew up blue collar, so like there's a real part of me that's always like wanting to be hands-on and I'll wind the floss and I'll just do
Mhm.
that for you and I'll do this for you.
Mhm.
But it is making me realize that I do have to kind of protect that creative side
Yeah.
too. It's a challenge, it's a
Yeah.
challenge being a small business owner. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the great news is that Georgia, my teenager, is starting to show a huge amount of interest in
Right.
all things embroidery. Really took me by surprise. She's my kid who's always said, Mom, love that sewing's your thing. It's not for me. Well, she's got a friend who crochets and like all this stuff.
the people that you meet in your life that just change your perspective on things sometimes.
Exactly. So she came in and picked up the bookmark kit, and now she's doing Iris's paint box, the bit kit. And I'm like, whoa, babe, like, you sure you want to start with that one? She's like, yeah. And next thing I know, an hour later, she's like, got it. And I'm like, wow, I didn't realize you were like good at this because it's hard when this is your thing as a parent, you don't want to push it on your kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so then, okay, but I did do a little bit of reverse psychology, and this part was good. Okay, so we have the industrial serger. And when you get an Avlea kit, the fabric, like the raw edges are all serged.
Mhm.
And okay, but that's a lot of serging.
Yeah.
And we have the industrial serger. And it's way different than a home serger because it's like this great big jukey machine. And to thread it is literally like doing brain surgery. The thing is, like, you have to make sure that you never let the thread run out because you have to go through all of these little thread channels. And I literally use surgical tweezers to rethread it. Like,
Wow.
it's really complicated to get it rethreaded. So I went on this big thing where I was like, oh my gosh, like, she wanted to learn to serge. I said, okay, great. But I said, do not touch those thread guns. I don't want to see you touching them. You can't do it. It's too complicated. I laid it on thick. Like, it's really challenging and it's really hard. And maybe in a year we'll go over that. Well, it totally worked. It went like 2 days later. She was like, well, I ran out
Okay,
of
Mom.
I'll
show you.
And I was like, yes. So Georgia knows how to work the serger now. And so she's actually really interested. She's kind of like, it really took me by surprise. But right now it's a challenging time for kids she's a sophomore in high school. And it's a challenging time for them to kind of navigate what they're going to do with college or careers or things like that. It's just, the college path is not necessarily the right path for every kid anymore.
Yep.
And she's trying to navigate all of that. So she's seriously thinking about doing like a gap year and coming and like working alongside me just to kind of see, well, is this something she'd be interested in?
That's great.
So I would be thrilled. Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah. So all that to say, George has been hanging out and doing more stitching and serging and all the things.
That's so great.
Yeah, it is good.
Really good.
Well, and I being somebody who's blue collar, I'm always like, go to college. Like, you need to go to college if you can get the education that like I never got to get. But I'm really having to really rethink that position.
Yeah.
I just feel
Yeah.
like with a lot of what's going on. Well, and Carolyn, you work
Yeah.
in
I'm a professor.
academia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's not for everybody. And that's, I
yeah,
mean, there's still a lot you can do and be very successful. I mean, obviously, without it. So yeah, definitely.
yeah.
It's weird times. I mean, I
But I
think,
think it's good that you kept your mind open because
yeah,
I grew up in that era of, parents were like, you're going to college, you're doing,
yeah,
you know what? I'm now doing something that probably didn't need that, but it helped me get there.
yeah,
Yeah.
But it's good to keep your mind open to being up for change because
Uh-huh.
sometimes people, their minds are set and that's not always the right path for everybody. And I
yeah,
think that, yeah, college is really good for some people, but it's also not for everybody. But yeah, same thing is if you don't go to college, it's not anymore like, oh, you didn't go to college, you're uneducated.
Yes.
right,
No,
right.
there's other ways that you can get education for different types of fields or craftsmanship that you'll
Yeah.
Like the
successful
apprenticeship
people.
that she's going to do with you potentially in between high school and whatever is next, right?
Yeah.
Like, I
I
mean,
think,
that's really
yeah.
what
And I
it
feel like
is. Yeah,
knowing how to work machines, knowing how to actually like package an order and get it out and
yeah,
deadlines and all of that. Like, I feel like a lot of that actually sets her up pretty well if she does choose to go back to college. It's like she'll actually have that working experience,
yeah,
and like the scheduling and like if you have to be here, like these out, like
yeah,
there's a lot of that like, okay, the work has to happen.
right,
We don't just get to tell someone I didn't feel like going into work today. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
So
Yeah.
I do feel like that kind of like life skills, you do learn a lot of that like on the job. So
Yeah,
I know. So I'm kind of excited about it. I'm like, okay, I wasn't expecting it, but I'm like, okay, this is good. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's really
But
Yeah.
great.
good too that you didn't push her into it because if you pushed her, she probably would be like,
Oh, this kid?
Yeah,
she'd just learn to
Oh my
hate it
gosh.
versus like, oh, now she met a friend. It's kind of like, wow, I'm really into this. You are? Well, that's interesting because
Hmm.
my mom's doing this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Hey,
That
mom,
was
maybe
how it
it's like
went.
let her come to you, like, hey, I'm
yeah.
kind of interested. And then you're like, all right, you have everything, you have it set up, and you're like, I'm here if you need help. And if you want to explore on your own,
Just,
great.
just don't touch the serger.
Just don't, I'll just learn how to search. Yeah, don't touch the searcher.
I was like, yes.
I
I
love
was like,
it.
yep,
I love it.
yeah, it worked. It worked. Great. And well, and I also was a little worried too. I was like, okay, I'm the only person in our family that actually knows how that threading works. And we now live in a small town. And it's not like we can just, call up
Yeah,
a sewing machine repairman.
yeah,
And with industrial machinery, they have to come to your location
yeah.
because they're so heavy. Like my industrial sewing machine weighs like, I don't know, it's like 150 pounds. The thing is
Oh my
like a
gosh.
monster. Yeah, the whole head of an industrial machine is all cast iron. So they're very unwieldy.
Yeah,
And so it's a huge production every time I've ever moved. It's always like it's like moving, I don't know, an infant in an ICU like
yeah,
container. We have to like have it all carefully done and all the parts and like we
yeah,
spend half the move just figuring out how to move the machines.
yeah.
Um, so it is a thing. So I was actually kind of grateful that I'm not the only keeper of that. But and it's kind of funny too because Georgia is totally my have you I don't know if you guys have ever heard of her, but there was this gal that I read, what is her name? Mary something Krishinka, and she wrote a really great book called Raising Your Spirited Child. And let's just say I needed it for two of my daughters, and it was absolutely a lifeline for me.
Yeah,
And Georgia had like in her book, she talks about a negative first reaction. Kids who have a negative first reaction, Georgia is 100% that way. She could be 3 years old, and I could say, "Hey, let's go get ice cream." She's like, "No, no, I don't think so." Like she would just like her first response was always no. And I
Yep.
kept at the time it was really challenging. And the book was like, it's okay if they have a negative first reaction because the first time someone tries to tell them, hey, you should do drugs, they're gonna say, no, no, I don't think so. And I was like, okay, good. So the book helps you like see the positives of these like characteristics or personality traits that can like be labeled societally like as a negative, but like
yeah.
what would be the positive. It was very helpful because Georgia has always been that way. So yeah, so I was really happy. And now she's like getting really interested. So like she's like, ooh, have you thought about doing like this color palette? Or have you thought about doing this? And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh no, I hadn't thought about that. So it's kind of fun to have somebody else to like play ideas against. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And somebody
Yeah.
who's really comfortable with you, right? To
Exactly.
make those
Yes.
suggestions or to be really
Exactly.
honest with you.
Yeah, it won't just say, "Oh, that looks great, mom," but that
No.
actually, you can
Yeah,
and can give you some criticism that you don't feel too bad about. Mom,
Yeah.
that didn't really go to good. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, and actually, our bookmark kit was totally her idea. she was like, we were here and I was like, wow, I just wish there was a way that we could like do something that would be like really like small and approachable and easy for somebody who was just starting out. She's like, oh, you should do bookmarks. And I'm like,
Yeah.
does anybody use bookmarks anymore? She goes, oh, mom.
Me, I
Really
love
big.
them. I read all the
Yes.
time, so I'm a huge
Yeah, I know. Georgia was like, oh, mom, like everybody at school, we all use bookmarks. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm like, wait, tell me more. She's like, yeah, like it's your style and like your bookmark. And I'm like, okay, I didn't even know that was a thing.
That's
And
so
so
precious. I love it.
I know, right? And so I'm really trying to like learn from her. Like, okay, what? Because I really, really want to like, I really want to like, I really want to welcome like younger and
Yeah,
new
yeah,
students in, you know? I feel like that's
yeah,
so important in our community.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, okay, I like the table runners that you do a lot too, just because I've started the last couple of years have done a high tea. I throw a high tea party with
I love
my
it.
friends because I have all these irises. So really the purpose is to get everybody over here so that I can give them a 10-minute spiel in my iris garden about what each one is, and I have all the labels for all the names. I mean, it's, I'm like, okay, you guys have to deal with me talking to you for 10 minutes before, and then you can come and drink and we can do tea and maybe some cocktails. But we all dress up like the guys wear suits, the girls wear the dresses and the pearls, and like they have the little gloves and they're high tea. And it's cool because I get a lot of all these pieces. Like I have some of these pieces from the high tea idea started with my grandma when she right before she passed, we did high tea together. It was awesome. She had these pieces, so I've inherited them. And then I have a couple from my husband's side of the family. So they're kind of heirloom pieces, but then you can also go to like Goodwill and get some really cool mismatching items that go that doesn't matter. Like you don't have to have them matchy. It's cool that let's get a conversation piece. Like, oh, what cup and what saucer did you get? And you make all the little finger foods. And the table runners I love because it kind of blends my love of cross stitching now with the tea party, so I can put them on the table with all the pieces on it.
I love
So
that.
that's why this one that you gave us. Do you remember this one? This is the
Yeah.
one that you kitted up for us in the Pacific Northwest Stitching Summit, Acorns and Threads, in September last year. So I finished it.
You did?
Do you
Ooh,
want to see
I
it?
want to see it. Let's see it. Let's see it.
So I'm going to use it this year.
Oh,
That's
it's so pretty,
beautiful.
Megan.
Oh,
It's
you
just,
did a great
Yay!
job. And that's like a 30 count. Like that's a smaller fabric, to work on.
yeah,
You did
that's
a
Yes.
gorgeous.
fantastic
I was
job.
really proud of this one. And now what I have to do is I have to fully finish it like this picture because this is
You
what
got
I want it
you can do the how-to tutorials. Just
to
do
look
the
like.
how-to
Yeah, so that is
tutorials.
my next
Yep.
learning step with
Yep.
your
I know.
tutorials.
Yep.
Because my party is going to be in May, beginning of May.
Oh,
So
that's soon.
for this
Oh,
year,
that would
yeah.
be
So I have to
so
get
pretty
this.
with a teapot.
Yeah, but put it on there like either with the teapot or like a little creamer or probably with the sugar because I don't want anything to spill on
To get
it.
stained. Yeah.
But if it does, you
Um,
can wash it.
yeah,
Hey, have
that's
you guys
true.
discovered that stuff? Oh, I should have brought a thing of it. Have you guys discovered this product? One of my customers told me about it. It's called Retro Wash, and it's on Amazon, and it's this amazing product. It's designed, it's like a laundry booster thing, but it's not really a booster. It's like a soaking agent. It's like this powder. It's this white powder, comes in a bag, and basically, like I had one of my older samples. It's from like 10 years ago. It was looking really dingy, and I put it in there, and you put like I think it's 3 tablespoons in, and you put it like in a tote, like in a plastic tote, and you put warm water, and you swish it around, and you leave it for 3 days, and it literally. I could not believe how effective it was. It came out like sparkling clean. It was so sparkling. I was actually able to take it as one of the samples to Sew Expo. And I thought I was never going to be able to use that embroidery again. Like,
Wow.
yeah. Anyway, so it's called Retro Wash.
Do you change
Really
out the
cool
water
stuff.
each day?
Nope. You just
You
leave
just
it.
leave it alone.
You just leave it. And you can add, like, I just kind of shook it a little bit gently, like every day, and that was it. And I
Wow.
put 2 pieces in. Like, I put that one and another one because I was testing it. I was like, is it really going to work?
Yeah.
It really worked.
Oh, that's good to
Oh,
know.
that's really
Yeah,
good to know. Because
retro
I've been there, but I'm
wash.
like, okay, what am I? Because I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to put a teapot on it. But that's good to know just in
Well,
case.
and for your grandma's pieces, if you inherit any
Yeah.
older, it's designed for older, like vintage yellowed linens. But
Yeah.
it really works. So just
That's good to
FYI.
know.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like looking at these fun things that I can bring into my life parties or my life, like
Well,
so
and
that
the
my
thing,
friends who aren't into cross stitching can say, "Wow, like that's kind of cool." Like, and I'm like, "Oh, here's my excuse to showcase some of my cross stitching pieces and my irises, and then also have a good
Yes.
time."
yeah, and you want to use them
Like,
because you spent that time
You
working on them, and they're meant
do.
to be seen and used,
yeah.
So, um, I'm working on a Rakava. Is that how
Oh
you?
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot to bring it. It's
No,
on the other
go
side.
get it. It's
Can I get it?
awesome.
No.
I'm gonna,
And
I'll,
do I have the, hang on, I have the pattern. Let me grab
yeah,
it.
I'm gonna grab mine.
Go. Okay. Am I still here?
Yeah, hang on here. Okay.
Well, let's see, what else can I talk about?
So I have the
Oh,
pattern so I can show you.
okay, yeah, good.
Okay, so this is the Arakaba Antique, and this was the one that was the exclusive design for the Pacific
Also,
Northwest Stitch Summit.
also kid,
So
yes.
yeah, and so for this one, I cannot release that until this September, but this will be my September this year release. And so it's a really fun stitch. It's actually from a vintage
A lot larger than the one that I stitched. Yeah.
what?
A lot
Yeah,
larger than
it's
the
the
one that I
big
just
one.
did.
It's the big one that I
Yeah.
did because for Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, I designed two things.
Mhm.
The one that you did was the little freebie
Little
kit.
leaves. Yeah.
Yep, the little leaves. And so that was able to release right away. But the main design, when you design for like a stitching retreat, oftentimes they'll ask for exclusivity for a certain period of time. And it's good because that like helps get people to the retreat. And so, but this is a fun stitch because I stitched the sample on this one too. And it's like, it's a long table runner, but I designed it in such a way that you can use it as a table runner, but I also envisioned it like as a wall hanging.
Hanging. Yeah.
Like that's, yeah, because I thought it would be a really cool, like it's got a really great, like those squares, it's like a tile. So it's almost like something you could hang on the wall too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Here's,
Oh, you got it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what, yeah, I was like,
You
go
can see
get
it's
it.
pretty
I know
big.
she's been working on it.
yeah.
It's
So
really a fun stitch.
here's where I'm at. So
Wow.
I'm saving the center for last.
Yep.
And I'm on the second one. So I work on it. This is my 25/7 piece for the month of March. So I work on it 25 minutes a day.
Oh, good job.
And my goal is to finish it by the next Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. We'll see
Oh,
if I
that'd be
get
so
there.
cool. Then you could have it on the brag table.
Yes,
Well, we're
definitely.
both gonna bring our, because we're both going to that retreat.
Yeah,
So
me
we're
too.
both, oh, you
Are
are?
you?
Okay, well,
Oh,
you're
not
going?
only am I going, I feel like I have another tiara in my future. I get to be the MC of the Smalls Exchange.
No way.
Yeah, Janine asked me to be the MC of the Smalls Exchange because we need to kind of move things along a little faster in the Smalls Exchange.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be there to like be the, Vanna White of the Smalls Exchange. I'm super
love it.
excited.
Oh, that's
Awesome. Okay,
so
well, so then
fun.
you'll get to see these pieces done from us.
Yeah.
Or well,
Yeah.
mine will be fully
Yes.
seeing my finish, but you'll see it fully
That
finished.
is so okay, yeah. And this is from this piece is so cool. I can't wait to release it because when I was in Greece, my most recent trip, okay, I had this kind of like thing. I wanted to go to like all these different little folk costume museums. And I had heard of this little folk museum in Arakova, Greece. And Arakova is up in the mountains and it's near Mount Olympus with the Oracle of Delphos. Okay, so it gets huge amounts of tourists, but it's this little itty bitty teeny tiny mountain town of like 2,500 people. But it's really picturesque. It's so beautiful. It's all these like red tiled roofs built into the side of the hill. I mean, it's just gorgeous. But the funny thing is, there's this one little tiny main street going through town, and the folk costume museum is like right there. And there are all of these tour buses filled with Japanese tourists. And I heard more Japanese spoken in my couple of days I was there than I practically did Greek. But it's like 2.5 hours outside of Athens. It's up in the mountains. So most people like just get a tour bus and like go up that way and they see it for the day. So there's these huge tour buses like going through this itty bitty tiny little mountain road that's like about this wide. And you're just like, oh my gosh. When you stand there, you're like, okay, there's going to be a wreck today. When is the wreck going to happen? Because but no, they just like go right through. But
Very skilled, very skillful driver.
yeah, But it's really tricky to like kind of get there, like as if you're not on a tour bus, because you have to go and see Dimitri at the cafe to buy your bus ticket. But Dimitri's only there between 11 and 2. And so like it was this whole production for me to get my bus ticket to like get back to Athens. It was like I was on like a journey of Odysseus, but it was totally worth it because I went
to Odysseus.
It was like Krista.
The movie's coming out soon.
It was like it was so wild because I honestly thought, oh no, I'm gonna have to hire a taxi to drive me all the way back to Athens because I could not get the bus. Well, it turns out there's no easy place to buy the ticket. The ticket is sold in a particular restaurant, but all the locals know that he sells the tickets, but nobody else does. And so like it's not on any of the apps or anything like that. And I've learned now to say like, okay, where do I go buy the bus ticket? And then people are like, oh, okay. So I met these really sweet Greek ladies and they were so nice. And I was like, okay, well, I'm also trying to get to like the town of Chryso, which is like 20 minutes away. And I'm using my Greek is not great, but I can get by. And I'm like trying to explain, I'm there in the, why are you in Greece? What are you doing in Greece? And I'm like, well, I'm here to like, Spodazo Kentima, I study embroidery. And they were like, their eyes just lit up. The next thing I knew, they were calling George, and George, the taxi driver, was showing up. They're like, oh no, George will take you and he'll bring you back and it's a great museum and blah, blah, blah. So they were super duper sweet. So yeah, embroidery is sort of my calling card in Greece. And and so I ended up being able to go to not just Arakova, where is a really neat little folk costume museum because weaving and embroidery are really big there because it's in the mountains and they have lots of sheep. And so there's a lot of wool production there and it's colder. So their folk costume has like these really beautiful red wool aprons. They're like, it's a very distinctive type of, it's pretty easy to spot the folk costume of Arakova because it has a very distinctive style to it. Okay. But it's partly because of the climate. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. And I love it's a 26 count grounds cloth. And I love the fabric. It's so soft and lovely to work on. Yes. It's been so fun. And it's nice repetitive. Like it's like you just get into that
amount. Yes. When you can just have that like repetitive. Yeah.
It's almost meditative.
Cloth, it's very meditative. And the ground cloth is like kind of the one really traditional fabric like in Greece. Like that's used. It's been used like for a long time. The one that I use now, we buy from a family-owned mill in Athens, and it's made on modern looms, but it's made to mimic the hand-woven fabrics that were used historically. And it's funny because a lot of people look at it and think it's going to be kind of stiff because of the texture. So you touch it, you're like, oh wait, no, it's really soft. It's like
it's really soft,
like cotton. Yeah, because it's very minimally processed.
It looks a little bit like when you see it in person, it looks a little bit like an oatmeal Ada almost. Yes. And so that's what you expect when you touch it, but it's not. It's very soft and
really soft.
Lovely to stitch on.
Yeah, it's I have tons of my designs are on that fabric because also I really like it too because the 26 count I feel like it's very easy to stitch. It's really easy to see the threads, but it doesn't look like, say, a beginner or an easy fabric. Like it ends up looking more intricate when you're done. I don't know. It's like some magic it has.
Yeah, it's like Greek magic.
I can attest to that because when I chose which one to start, I was like, this seems more my beginner speed.
Which is so funny because that one's technically harder.
Colors are the same. You chose the same color palette for this one.
I did. Yeah, because
that one will have blue in it too.
When we do designer things, they Janine has the designers meet ahead of time. So we met like months before. Like I want to say like maybe 9 months before, 7, 8 months before we met, and we basically kind of agreed upon a loose color palette that we would each kind of like fairly closely adhere to, or we at least would have some shared colors. So there'd be some color harmony between the projects.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I mean, I like when I have like palette constraints.
Because then it's not overwhelming. You can like focus more on that makes sense.
Yeah, and there's just a handful of colors and it's just so beautiful. So I love it.
Oh, I'm so glad. I know. That's a really fun one. I know I have it on my design wall and I'm like, oh, I have to wait till December till we till we release it. I'm like waiting patiently. So yeah. That'll be a fun one. And it'll be, I don't have I only have a few table runner designs that are like that motif repeated down the center like that, and they're fun stitches. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this will only be like the third one I've done like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Great.
And the other ones are less complex. So like there's Anthea, which has those central medallions, and then there's Rhodora, which has the central medallions. But I think that's kind of it. So this one's going to be kind of like those, but like more intricate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. It's really fun to stitch on.
It's a fun one. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like this one a lot.
Yay. Great.
Gosh, how are we doing time wise? I
We're
don't even,
I think we're at almost an hour.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
I
that was
know.
a fast hour.
I know. I know. It was a really fast hour.
Well, all I can say is I think actually this is super fun, and I think that more tubers should look at doing joint floss tubes because I feel
Yeah.
like we have these. It's really fun to have these conversations.
Yeah. Like it was for
Like
our birthdays to start, but it's been really
Yeah.
fun to
yeah,
talk about all these things together.
I know.
this
Yeah.
is great.
So
Yeah, because
fun.
I feel like we've touched on so many like interesting things and
Yeah.
topics.
And I love that you're going to be at the Stitch Summit in September.
I'm
That's
so
so
Me too.
excited.
exciting.
I know. That's
I
a cool
know.
surprise. We all just
Oh,
found
we
out.
should get a table together. We should get a table
Yes.
together. Let's
Yes,
get a table,
you're
okay?
at our
Because
table.
I have to say I'm a little nervous about going to StitchCon because I don't know anybody. And I know that I
Yeah.
come across as a very like personable person. Oh, but I have a little social anxiety and I'm like, oh my gosh, will anybody talk to me? I'm like, I'm gonna walk in and I don't have a table. I don't have people. So
Yeah,
hopefully I'm gonna meet people. It'll be
you
fine.
will. You
But
will.
yeah,
But
let's
yes,
do a
I've just
table.
been to two, and both of them, I mean, I've known at least one person there at both, but
Oh,
you
good.
really, you do go. I mean, I was
people, yeah.
floored by how generous, welcoming everyone is. Like you kind of meet people in line, and you'll get a table with someone in line, and if you don't like the people who you're standing by, then you just kind of meander away. But I don't think you will. Like I think everybody's really
Yes.
nice and welcoming. And
But
when it's your
That's totally
personality, I
my
think
experience.
you'll make friends right away.
Make
Like
friends. I know I'll make new friends, which I love making new friends. But I love this idea of like kind of making a more expanded floss tube. You know,
yes,
just
it's
like
super
different
fun.
people talking about their different things because I feel like we actually are very representative just amongst us three
Yeah.
of the craft community. Like me
Yeah.
being, the old person who's like been here forever and like had my whole career in the craft industry. But
Yeah.
then like Megan is new to
Yeah.
this. And I love hearing that. Like, and then Carolyn, how long have you been crafting?
I've been crafting my whole life.
you've been stitching for a long time. You have a lot of huge projects that
Yeah.
you've been working on for years, and you have so many floss tubes. Like you're
Yeah,
a
I've stitched.
solidified floss tuber.
Yeah, I stitched when I was little, and then
Okay.
I moved away from it in high school and college, and then I got into quilting and knitting, and I did that for about 20 years. And then just in, I think it was August of 2018 that I got back into cross stitch,
Oh,
and I started my floss tube in January of 2019. And just kind of that's been my main thing. And I'm just now starting to get back into sewing and stuff like that, just kind of over the past year or so. But really cross stitch is my main craft now.
Yeah, but how
okay.
many floss tubes do you have? You have like
I just uploaded 310.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
310, and you
Yeah.
have a Facebook group too that you do a
Yeah.
lot of challenges with that other stitchers can come and participate in. I think that's
Yeah. Yeah. So you can join our it's called Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge group on Facebook. And we do monthly challenges and it's very easygoing. Not a
very
lot of
easygoing.
rules.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Great community.
flexible
let's
rules.
finish by giving like our spots you can find us. Like that's a
Okay,
great idea.
great.
So let's go through. Carolyn, why don't you say that again so that
Okay.
everybody knows like where to find us and what our thing is? Yeah.
Yes. So I'm on Flosstube as Czookstitch, which is a play on words like C for Carolyn, but also C as in you see
Yeah. See.
me.
Yes.
Um, I was in college before I realized my name did that, by the way. Um, and I'm on Facebook with there's a Czookstitch Facebook group. We also have the Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge Facebook group, which is very active. And we do monthly challenges, like I said, and all of that. And you can always email me at czookstitch@gmail.com.
Megan, what about you?
Okay, so I am Megan DeFaccio. Um, you can find me on FlossTube at MJ Stitches 23, which is Well, it was MJ Stitches, but I didn't realize that when you make a Flosstube channel, sometimes they're taken. So I thought this was more of a username. That's why the numbers are in there. But the 23 is is I'm from Chicago, and so I grew up with Michael Jordan playing basketball, MJ. So that was his basketball number. So it's kind of, if you're from Chicago, it's kind of an easier way to remember. But MJ Stitches 23 on Flosstube. And then same thing, MJ Stitches 23@gmail.com is my is a way to contact me with the email.
And you're super active in the Facebook group.
Yes, and I'm active in Carolyn and Robin's Facebook group. I don't have my own Facebook group. I'm too busy looking at all these cool projects, trying to learn
It's very enabling.
all the different stitches and techniques and sewing and just stitching from Ada to something else. And yeah, so I'm having a blast learning about everything and meeting people that are in this community as well.
Yeah. What about you, Krista?
Yeah, you, Krista.
Well, I'm Krista West, and I am the owner and designer of Avlea Folk Embroidery. And for everyone who's wondering, Avlea means courtyard in Greek. The Avlea is the courtyard. It's where people would sit and stitch. So that's how it's named that. And you can find my Flosstube is, I also had no idea that I should have used the business name when I was starting any of my social media, because I had never had a social media account until I started Avlea at the ripe old age of 48. And so I am Krista M. West on Instagram and on YouTube. And then, of course, everything is at my website, avleafolkembroidery.com. And at the website there's a lot of, I do a lot of how-to tutorials. Mm-hmm. My background is I was a professional tailor. And so I like to do a lot of how-to videos, walking people through step-by-step how to do things to kind of help you learn more and put more skills in your own toolkit. And then, of course, I do designs and PDF patterns and kits and all the things. And we import specialty fabrics from Greece and Europe. So yeah, that's what we do.
Fantastic. This has been so much fun.
This is fun.
And happy birthday to all of us.
I know, and happy birthday to us.
Yay, happy birthday, everyone. Yay.
Yay. And we'll see you all next time.
Okay, sounds great.
Bye.
Bye.